My name is Lucas, and I worked the night shift at a gas station off a rural highway in Arizona. If you've ever worked nights at a place like that, you know how it is. Hours go by with no customers, just the buzzing lights and the sound of trucks passing in the distance. Around 2:40 a.m., a man walked in. He didn't grab snacks, didn't look around. He just stood near the door. He was wearing a hoodie pulled low over his face, and his clothes were dusty, like he'd been walking for a long time. I asked him if he needed help. He slowly shook his head. Then he asked me a strange question. "Do you lock the doors after midnight?" I said no. He nodded, smiled slightly, and walked out. A few minutes later, I noticed something strange on the security monitor. Someone was standing behind the building, just standing there, not moving. I zoomed the camera in and my stomach dropped. It was the same man, facing the wall, not the door, like he was waiting for something. I called my manager. No answer. When I looked back at the monitor, he was gone. 10 minutes later, the door chimed again. The man walked in, breathing hard. He leaned over the counter and whispered. He didn't see me this time. I asked who he was talking about. He smiled wider and said, "The guy in your bathroom." I never checked. I locked myself in the office and called 911. Police later told me there was no bathroom camera footage from that night, and no one else was found. I worked at a small gas station in Ohio during college. One rule was clear. If you felt unsafe, you were allowed to lock the doors and serve customers through the window. One night around 1 a.m., a woman pulled up. She didn't get out of her car. She just sat there with the engine running. I waved at her. She waved back. Then she mouthed something. I couldn't hear her, so I opened the door a crack. She immediately shook her head violently and whispered, "Don't." I froze. She slowly pointed behind my counter. My heart started racing. I shut the door and locked it. I grabbed the bat we kept under the register and whispered, "What's back there?" Her eyes filled with tears. She said, "He followed me in earlier. He never left." I backed away slowly and called the police. When officers arrived, they searched the store. They didn't find anyone. But they did find something else. A fresh footprint. On the counter, right where someone would stand to watch the register. I used to stop at the same gas station every night after work. Same cashier, same lights, same routine. One night the cashier wasn't there. Instead, a teenage guy was working, clearly nervous. When I paid, he hesitated before handing me my receipt. He whispered, "Please read this in your car." That alone freaked me out. I nodded and left. When I got to my car, I unfolded the receipt. Written on the back in shaky pen were 3 words: "Call the police." I looked back at the store. The teen was gone. A man was now standing behind the counter, staring straight at me. He slowly raised his hand and waved. I drove off and called 911. Later, I found out the cashier scheduled that night had never shown up for his shift. And the teen? He didn't exist in their employee system.